Not sure why that is. It's a different length, so maybe they changed the format of their keys. They should really send out emails if they're going to do something like that. Alright, so I believe that we're going to see me pop up in the video preview any minute here. My actual mic is drifting a little bit. Let's see if I can pull it over. That's a little better. Alright, that should work. Come on, Twitch, get it together. I'm streaming. Show me that. Okay, it's gone back to the old Twitch where I had to hit reload in order to see my stream. That's fine. So I'll just post about this. I'm streaming game dev. Gonna do some gameplay stuff, I think. Paste. All right. Well, that was an exciting intro, as I'm sure you'll all agree. So in the last episode, we set up a system where our crew members can get stressed out and have events and all that stuff unfolds. What we're going to do today is make it so that when we go over to our crew members, Erdway says, I just came in to say hello, but he can't watch. Fine, get lost, you fair weather viewer. We did this thing where we can let the characters unfold properly, but we can't get any information about the characters. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a variant of the character editor, which just allows us to view the characters. And that should be fairly straightforward. Hopefully we'll be finished before 4:30. Now that's an hour from now, in case you're not on the East Coast. So if we take a look at the ships that we need, at the thing that we need, what we're going to do is load up a ship that's got some crews in it, like the Bjorker here. Oh, I'm a little tired. Didn't get enough caffeine today. Such a shame. This screen here, we're going to go ahead and edit this so that it's a different screen. I mean, we're going to have two, this one and another one that's very similar, but is a different screen. So this is our avatar manipulation canvas. So let's go ahead and go down into the prefabs and track it down. Avatar manipulation canvas. Boom. This is it, and we're going to want to have the avatar viewing canvas as a separate object. Boom. The avatar viewing canvas won't have any of these details. It's got nothing editable. So we're going to delete the body edit and the button 1 and the button 2. This all goes away. Yep. The overview tab is where's the did I delete the body edit? Oh, I crashed it. Woohoo! Congratulations, you have crashed Unity live on camera. Apparently, clicking undo causes it to crash, so we'll keep that in mind, and we'll try not to hit undo. Right, where were we? Prefabs, avatar viewing canvas. Oh, good, it didn't get corrupted. So the reason that I had to press undo is because the body edit tab is its own thing and not, in fact, one of these two buttons. Morse Amalgam says, hair! I don't know where he got that idea. So we don't care much about the body edit tab. The overview tab is more what we're in the mood for. But you can see that not all of these things are visible. This thing that says hair, for example, is actually hobbies, not hair. Alright, so the body edit one isn't, in fact, the one we want to save. Which means that we can just delete it. Yeah, because these things can't be changed, and they're not things that you're going to need to know during play. So we can delete the body edit tab and just get left with this tab here. The reason I thought that this was the wrong tab is because it says hair, and we didn't need the hair tab. But it looks like I just reused a button that said hair. So this hobbies, we actually don't need both of the hobbies and we don't need the personality at all. This slider is going to be replaced later on, I think, by something else, but for now we'll just delete it. The name panel is going to be text boxes rather than text fields. I guess we have to just drag them out here. So we'll just put in 2 text fields. Actually, we only need 1 text field, don't we? Boom. Don't need that. Boom, it's gone. This is the name text. Yep, Morse Amalgam is pointing out that I am using recycled hair. 100% organic recycled hair. Perfect for all of your green hair needs. Did I screw this up? I did it with the wrong one. Oh, I pressed undo. That was super dangerous. This is the name text. This is the label. There we are. And what we're going to do is put it with a little bit of a left indent and then center it like so. And then increase the size to 16. And we don't actually need this label now that I'm thinking about it, because it's pretty clear that this is their name right from the start. We're also not going to want the save or the randomize deleted. So this can go right up top like this. Perfect. Let's just make this text box a little more crisp and clear and easy to read by bolding it and making it dark. Perfect. So, with that in mind, all we have left is the hobbies. And we're going to need a couple more values besides hobbies. We're going to need stats. We're going to need stress. We're going to need much more than just stress. We're going to need a value which is what is happening with your stress, what things are contributing to it. We'll get to that in a little while, though. I do want to have a stress system, though. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and have this not be there. Boom. And then this will be our stress panel. Stress summary. Stress summary. We're going to need 2 text boxes. The first one is going to say stress. And it's not going to be 18 bold. So this is going to be the label. And then this one is going to be the number. And we're going to go ahead and use our wonderful little editor here and make sure that these things work out. This is obviously a temporary setup because there are lots of other things that we're going to want to put in this area. And we'll end up probably making the same sort of thing we've got here, a grid with 2 rows. But we don't have anything besides stress yet. The only stat we've got right now is stress. So that's what we're going to start with. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the label up like this. And then this will be value. Okay. I know that UI is definitely the most interesting and fun part of game design. So I don't expect anyone to be here cheering and howling for me today, for sure. But this is the sort of thing that has to get done, and it's easier to do it while I'm talking to myself under the pretext of talking to you. So this mask here contains all hobbies. We'll just get rid of that, because the only thing we need is our hobbies. So that means that we have an entire column that's still empty, as you can see. So what we're going to do in that column is we're going to put a summary of what sort of values. Can we undo? Good. Didn't crash this time. In this mask here, we're going to replace with a summary of the stress values, or what's affecting us. Summary of stress indicators. And this content here contains a bunch of buttons like this. And instead, we're going to delete this content entirely and just make it a text field that is the same size. Boop. And give it some borders. Stress is affected by porridge for dinner, lots of cats, bad dreams about Wookiees. There we are. We'll make this better later on, but for now that's fine. We don't need to be too careful. Morse Amalgam says it's a great way to rubber duck develop. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. It's pretty easy to throw stuff at Twitch, and sometimes Twitch talks back, but even if it doesn't, you're still throwing the stuff. So this hobby's hair is obviously not going to end up as hair. It should, in fact, autofill with the hobbies. But the only question is how durable this is, because this is considerably more... I haven't tested it on this sort of situation. So it's going to be interesting to try and get this to function. So these names are input fields. That's the first thing we're going to have to change. So pop up this avatar editor script and change it so that it won't have any errors when we actually do stuff. First things first, we have to go ahead and have a public text name label. And then that's what we will be dragging our new name text onto, because this is a name text label rather than one that you can have as an input field. Where is it? Wow, it took forever to compile that. There we are. So when we actually create this, what we do is we fill in the first name and the last name, but we don't check if they exist, which means that we will have an error that gets thrown if they don't. So if first name, then if last name, then if name label, then name label.text equals avatar.firstname plus avatar.lastname. Perfect. And here we say if skin tones. This is very, very basic stuff here. If hair content, if personality slider, if expression content, yeah, that's fine. Here we have the hobbies. Generate hobbies is its own thing, as you can see. So what we have is two systems. We've got the hobbies that we have, and we've got the hobbies that exist in the universe. Obviously, we only care about the ones we have. So we're going to make sure that those are also done correctly here. These are all responses that work fine. It is the one that is all about the hobbies that might be a problem. Regenerate hobbies, here it is. So if it has a social brain, then do stuff. So our hobbies content will always exist, but we should check for it anyway. If our hobbies content oh, what happened? That was weird. Oh, it's desynced. All right, close it down. In case you missed that, it was doing this weird bug where it'll skip displaying a line at random. And that does happen when it desyncs, and you definitely want to be sure that you don't, accidentally screw it up. If all hobbies content, you'll know right away because the lines just jitter in and out of existence randomly. So, So the other thing we need to do now is if someone clicks on the hobby, we need to make sure that it doesn't display on the all hobbies, but instead just says more details about the hobby and what's affecting it. To do that, we're going to need to have another text box. So here is the hobbies content, and we'll go ahead and say public text hobby overview. And that's going to be where we stick our stuff. All hobbies content here. when we click on the hobbies, so you see here, set up hobby button, our hobbies content, on click, add listener, remove hobby. And this is what we need to replace. So if all hobbies, then this. So another option is we can have like an editor boolean, where if it's editable, this happens. All hobbies exist, we can edit. Else, not editable, just a list of our hobbies. Set up hobby button, our hobby content, dot on click, add listener, explain hobby. So we've got this remove hobby, there it is, and now we're going to have an explain hobby. Explains the hobby and what is affecting it. So here we go through all of the possible hobbies, as you can see, and then we do this remove at and regenerate. That's not what we want to do. For now, we'll just go ahead and update the text box. So we'll say if not, what's it called? Hobby explain. Hobby overview. Return. Debug.log warning. No hobby overview text. No all hobbies content. No button click response. Return. Otherwise we say debug.log hobby explained. Eva Luigi is going, oh, damn phone didn't tell me about the stream. You're only 20 minutes late, which is par for the course for anyone that comes to my streams. Not that you guys are late. It's just that my streams are, they aren't really advertised. They're kind of stealth. I just pop up and do some work. Oh, I rebooted and I zoomed in and then I had to reboot and it didn't keep the zoom in. That's fine. So here what we're going to do is we're going to say hobby overview. Text equals the hobby name is a hobby and stuff. All right, so now with this in mind, this should be able to be popped up anytime that we need to do any sort of system where we see the character but can't edit it. If we bring this text box down here into our it still hasn't compiled yet. Oh, there's an error. I forgive you. There we go. And now the hobby text is right there. There it is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to save that. Apply. Now we're going to dart on over to our scene where we're doing all the testing for this. Nope. I don't think we have anything we want to save. Don't save. Evil Luigi says, I tried to contact you via Twitter, but Twitter didn't like me at all. It got the idea that I'm bot and I'm blocked from any and all interactions that I wanted to do. Yeah, Twitter's kind of strange. Anyone that's a serial harasser or a bot maker knows how to use Twitter, but anyone that's trying to get on Twitter has a rough time of it unless they're willing to give Twitter their phone number and shit, which is a really, really dumb move on Twitter's part. I think they're trying to make it harder for serial harassers to make new sock puppet accounts, but it doesn't seem to even get in their way. Hey, the moon is a cheese. Welcome. You can go ahead and talk to me here or email me, Evil Luigi. You don't have to worry too much about it. Yeah, me too, Eva Luigi. I also have all the script blockers. This here is our total crew situation. Now, what happens is that we pop up a specific portrait whenever we would like to have a portrait shown of our characters. Here it is, the Portrait UI. You can see that there's two of these, Portrait UI with Edit and Portrait UI. Portrait UI with Edit is the one from our creation system. Portrait UI is the one here, which does not have an Edit button. But unfortunately, it does have a... that's not the right spot? Where is it? Hold on. Content. There it is. Fine. Come on. Behave. Oh, it doesn't want to behave. Fascinating. Well, anyhow, we can edit it here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making it so that this whole thing is a clickable object. And that's not something that exists right now, but it will be soon. Evil Luigi says he doesn't know the email, and I just went ahead and bought the mic. I wanted you to ask something about. Yeah, go ahead and ask me about mics. I'm fairly familiar with the common ones. This needs to have a new category. What it specifically needs is a button that has a pop-up. There it is, Edit Avatar. Here it is. And it says universe.edit avatar. If you go over to the universe, this will pop up in the avatar editor according to the universe's description. What we need is a second one of this, which is a view avatar. Oh, avatar editor. Yeah, so I don't know what you apparently have very like skyrocketing high prices where you are, Evil Luigi. So I can't say too much about that. But if you get a 50% off like that, or I guess it's more like 40% off, and the mic isn't damaged in any way, it's generally not bad to pick it up, assuming that the mic is worth its money. Some mics are just bad. There we are. And then what we're going to do is down here, we're going to have one of these that just is the exact same, but view. Perfect. Okay. You're going to be stuck with the mic for a while unless you want to spend lots of cash every few months. So it's better to get the one that you feel you'll like. And if that means not getting a used one, that is absolutely fine. Although if you were going to go with a Yeti, you can get the Yetis used because they are invulnerable. You could like throw them out a 6th-story window onto the concrete and then have them run over by a truck, and they would still be fine. Oh, I forgot to put the avatar viewer prefab in here. So, avatar editor prefab, avatar viewer prefab. There we are. My bad. So if we go over here into the universe, we should have a new avatar viewer prefab, and we can dump the avatar viewer prefab that we created into that slot, thereby plugging things together. As I have said many times, number one mistake, you forget to plug your code in. That's fine. We have now plugged it in. I'm a little bit concerned that I may have just overwritten the universe in the creator mode, but that should be fine. I'm not too concerned. Did you buy a mic with a specific brand, or is it just like a generic mic that doesn't have a name on it? Because that would be a little bit interesting. I'm still adjusting my mic. Sorry if you can hear that. Yeah, if you're looking at gaming headsets, that's something I don't have much experience with. So what we're going to do is this Portrait UI needs to have an on-click. But the problem is that if it has an on-click, it can't be dragged. So what we actually need to do is give it a button. And it might not be best there. Maybe it would be better down lower. Name text mask overlay. Now these are all... I mean, we could put it inside the mask. Now let's just do it here at the portrait UI level. There are lots of things we could do, and we can change it later. So a button can be dragged, and there's something screwy about that, but whatever, it works. If it works, it works. We're not going to be... I mean, we'll tint it, but it's not going to be a visible tint. It's not going to really be noticeable. And the thing we want to have happen is that it is going to view itself. There we are. Boom. Now with that in mind, we will save our portrait UI and then delete it so that it's not there anymore. And then we'll hit play and see what happens. So Evil Luigi says it's a Samson G-Track black version. I want my headphones as light as possible because I only use it for communication. The rest of the sound is my big speakers. Big headphones would just block out the speakers. And the Moon is a Cheese is complaining about how Razer is now out of stock with the one thing that he has a contract for, or rather a warranty for. Brilliant. I'm not actually familiar with the Samson G-Track. Is that a headset mic? No, that's a standalone. I've just never played with it before. That's interesting. You'll have to tell me how good it is because it's not one of the ones I have much experience with. It looks like it's about the same level as the Yeti, which is solid. It's not a problem. It all depends on what sort of performance you're going to get out of it. Does it have the multiple the way that you need it to be able to be going? What do you call it? Unidirectional everywhere instead of just the condenser. Sorry, I'm blithering. It has multiple modes because I don't see any hint of multiple modes in this description. The Moon is a Cheese is leaving us. And the Evil Luigi says, I don't know how far the sides it works. Well, it won't. That's one of the reasons that I recommended that you get a unidirectional or a bidirectional version. The Yeti's big advantage is that on the back of the mic, and I'll just move it around. So you probably can barely hear me right now because I'm speaking into the back of the mic and it's on directional mode. But it's very easy to switch the modes. And if I switch it over here... Now it's in bidirectional mode, and it picks up from both sides of the mic equally well. But you can also get universal mode, at which point it picks up from everywhere in the room, you know, so I can do whatever I need to, and it'll pick it up everywhere. Did you get to hear that? All right, so Evil Luigi says it only has supercardioid. For most people, supercardioid is exactly what you need, but you did say that you wanted to pick up room ambiance. So, you know, I wanted to just make it clear that there are specifically modes for that. And Morse Amalgam says that he certainly heard me grunting into the mic. It's actually surprising how hard that dial is to turn because it's a mechanical switch. It actually moves magnets around and shit. So it takes some fingers. Where was he? About to hit play. That's right. I might have to look back into this stream to get that little bit, because I don't think I've ever tried to record that happening before. When I first got the mic, I was worried that it would, like, the driver would cut out or something if I did that, but it doesn't look like it did. Okay, so here we are in the scene view, and if I click here, I get this. All right, you see this? This is our new overview tab. Obviously, there's some issues with the tabbing at the top there, and the stress isn't being printed, but you get the basic idea. Evil Luigi is going into details about his room setup, and it sounds like it should work. It's up to you. If you can't make it work, you can always get a second mic. There are plenty of ways to plug 2 USB mics into your computer, but that does require a little bit of programming. Like, you have to download another program, I mean. because the Windows itself doesn't really understand how to do that. And you can also just go ahead and get a bidirectional or universal mic. What is it? It's not called universal. I've forgotten the name. Yeah. Pan-directional? Omnidirectional? Whatever. The hobby gardening is a hobby and stuff. Okay, so you can see that what happened here is we got all of these body editor pop-ups here, and they probably still work. No, they don't work, but they exist, and we really... Oh, they do work. Okay. They exist, and we want them to not exist. So there's something that's popping these up, even though I deleted the elements that should be doing that. So to make that not happen, we're going to go over to the avatar editor and figure out what's causing that. All right, Evil Luigi, see you after you restart Firefox. So I remember the problem. The problem is that it's actually got this this setup where it detects whether or not you have any editors, and it turns those on if you do. Let's see if I can pass it down here. See, this head edit and body edit. This is what we're talking about here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a value here. So if AEC.length, no, AEC, what the heck? Oh, sorry, I'm just being an idiot. It goes afterwards here. If AEC.length equals 0, view only mode. Wait, this is on the controller. Hold on. We are going to need a Boolean value after all of this nonsense. So public bool view only editable equals true. And that's fine. And what I will do now is set this up to actually work. AEC, there it is. If not editable, return. Evil Luigi has never-ending problems with Twitch, which doesn't bode well for his streaming capability with his new mic, I suppose. Boom. All right, so here we go. And once again, we still have these editing balls. What's up with this? What's turning them on? So this is valid in that it turns them to a specific camera. I guess what we can do is turn them all off. If editable, if not editable, AEC.enabled equals false. Let's try it. And Evil Luigi has now returned. Exciting news for everybody. What's with these? I've forgotten how I programmed it, but boy, they are aggressive, aren't they? They are popping into existence regardless of what we're trying to do here. Oh, that's because we forgot to mark it not editable. idiot. You gotta plug in your code before it goes anywhere. Boom. And Evil Luigi is once again angry at Mozilla Firefox. I'm going to be using Firefox forever, though, because Google has started to implement weird ad-related workarounds into some of their beta branches of Chrome. And I'm not going to wait for those to hit mainstream. I'm just going to stop using Chrome. Avatar self-destructing because the scenario took control. Why is this scenario stealing control from something I'm clicking on after the scenario? That's fascinating. I don't know much about the forks of Firefox, so I can't help you much. So if player control, if there is a top controller, and we're not, and it's not us, then we break. But we're going to want to make that a little bit different. Aha, here's the problem. This actually checks to see whether the avatar's body editing units are up and running. If they're up and running, then this check happens. So this only is occurring if it's editable. There, that'll do it. Begin attack run says, "Heya," and then Evil Luigi starts on his rant in full, as if a greeting. I must have misspelled because somewhere, because Evil Luigi is ranting about it. Yes, I did. I don't really think that that's terribly important, though. It's in a comment. FX says, I use Chromium. It's the base version of Chrome before Google adds its overhead. It's evil, evil overhead. It's probably wise. I might have to try that out. Here we go. We've got our editor. The only problem is that it zooms in. Ooh, look at that. It's an editor, all right, but we can't see what we're editing. Look at this. So what is this? What's going on with this giant, ugly box in front of our face? Is that the ship getting in the way? So we got our avatar viewing canvas. That's a canvas, right? Yeah, and there's no opaque stuff there. We've actually got two of them stacked on top of each other. We should probably fix that. We can say if player control.top and player control.top is avatar editor, and player control.top does not equal this. Debug.log warning, killing old editor now that we have a new one. Stop editing. Anyway, we caught it though. There was a strange bug there, so let's go ahead and take a look. Unreachable code detected. Did I just add a bunch of unreachable code? God damn it. Give me that unreachable code. Unreachable code detected, right? Give it to me. Fuck. Give me the frigging warning again. Oh man, you've just decided that instead of compiling properly, you're going to have just flat out fucking purple script errors. Give me a break. What the hell? So anyhow, I've implemented something which has a bug in it. And it won't tell me what the bug is because it only recompiles occasionally. And I can't seem to find it. These errors are something I have to deal with, but I haven't found a good way to do it yet. Well, maybe the unreachable code isn't actually there. It doesn't seem likely, though. It seems very likely that it is. Anyhow, this block is what we're trying to figure out how to get rid of. The camera is zooming in on the character just fine, but there is this giant opaque blob in the way, and I don't know what it is. So if we take a look, here's the avatar viewing canvas, and it's just a canvas that doesn't have anything on the left-hand side of the screen. If we look at the universe camera, it's got all of these cameras, and they all show things. See, it's all stuff. So it's not that. It's got to be camera for editing avatars. This is what it's got to be. Here it is, avatar edit camera. So the avatar edit camera is doing a solid clear, and where are we? Oh, okay, no wonder, we're nowhere near where we're supposed to be. That's interesting. Why is it over there? That's like a bizarre offset. So the camera editor here, this is way off in the middle of nowhere. Well, that's weird. Huh. Well, let's go ahead and set this up here. That's right, this is all inside of another class now, or another namespace now. Might as well set this up to be properly tabbed. Debug.log. Orbital cam target is now target.name. All right, so let's try this. There it is. Are you going to let me open it? You going to have a weird pop-up where you decide that you're going to send it away instead of letting me open it? You are, aren't you? You're an ass. And of course, it's far enough back that I can't see it anymore. God damn. That's obnoxious. All right, so if we take a look at what it says, zooming on human alpha crew, spawning avatar portrait for, that's not what we need, that was the misclick. Orbital cam target is now, orbital cam target. I don't think there is an orbital cam target. Oh, here we are. Nope, I don't know. Let's go ahead and put in an error just so that it's really obvious and clear and we can see it. Morse Amalgam says you should use filters on the warnings. Yeah, I really should start to reduce these or package them up into different kinds of debug patterns. For example, moving object maneuvering jet, this sort of thing here isn't really necessary. So we're going to go ahead and just comment that out, and that's a good number of our comments here, as you can see. So we're going to go ahead and maybe do a little bit of the details. But this is what really bothers me. This here is happening for a specific reason. What happens is when you load all with this here, it actually loads everything in the resources directory and then checks if it has a catalog manifest. That means that it doesn't just load the catalog manifests. It loads absolutely everything. Now I tried using this, find objects of type all, but it doesn't work until you've used load all, which means that it's no good for the first boot. But if I can make this only load up one category deep, it makes more sense. The problem is it appears to be recursive, and we can't set the recursion depth. So, don't know. Okay, so here you can see that that camera is not even being called. It's just wherever it happened to be, and that's the problem here. The editor camera isn't being called because it isn't the one that's in control. Aha! Right. See, there's actually some player controls on the individual body elements of the avatar, and those control those spherical balls that you can drag around to change the shape of the avatar. Those are normally given camera control, because that way you can interact with them, because that's what your camera is going to be looking at. But if the camera doesn't have any of those balls to focus on, we are going to be the ones that need to be able to do it. The problem is that our setup, here it is this considered no, this is just a mono behavior. It's not a player controller. So we're going to have to manually trigger that if we're not editable. So here in update, here it is. If not editable, then what we're going to want to do is manually change camera, manually update camera. And we have the camera already set up. It's known to us already. It is the attached camera, see? So we will say attached camera, and then we are going to do a manual update, and we're going to send it our avatar. That might have to be avatar.transform. I can't remember. Yeah, that's fine. Unreachable code detected. Avatar editor 239. Okay, so let's take a look. This is avatar editor, and this is 239. If player control top and player control top is avatar, and player control top does not equal this, how is that unreachable? Whoosh. Oh, so close. Not quite, but close. And as you can see, we can zoom around and do stuff, but we probably want to have it focus on the avatar's center of face. So for that, what we're going to want to do is pass it something besides the transform. Avatar dot... Do we have eyes? I think we've got eyes. So let's go over to the avatar. No, not the declaration, sorry, this guy. And let's go ahead and add in a public transform eye. Alternately, so the custom avatar does have the ability to get the center of the eyes. I know because I've used it dozens of times, but I can't remember where that is. Here it is. So real face, here it is. This is the real face component. So what we're going to want to do is set this up to be something that can be gotten much easier. So protected real face, face, I guess is fine. Public real face. I could pass it the position of the face cam, Evoluigi, but the face cam works on very different rules because it's frozen in a specific spot to take portraits effectively. And and I can't be focused on the camera because it's not where the face is. So what we're going to need to do is be able to grab the real face and grab the eyes. The problem is that we actually want the center of the eyes and not the eye itself. Right now we take a transform, as you can see. What we're going to need to do is have a new kind of... I don't know how to do this without being annoying. Well, I guess we can just focus on one of their eyes for now. It's not terribly important if it's off by a little bit at the moment. So, what we're trying to do is manually update the camera. Here it is. And this is avatar.face. And I think that this might actually be good enough, just the face. I don't actually know where the face is, if it's on the face or not. So we'll go ahead and pass it the left eye, just to be sure. Evil Luigi says, okay. I'm not sure what he's saying okay about. I must have been incoherent for a little while. Sorry. Real face is just an ancient script I created, and all it really does is keep track of the eyes and try and make them act in a vaguely realistic manner. I've got most of that functionality just flat out turned off. So that's pretty good. You can see that it's focusing on sort of their face. Now what we really need to do is have it come around to being in front of their face, or just in front of them in general. Well, that's why I pass it the transform, the idea being that it can be told to lock into the front of their face, at least by default. So this orbital camera has a couple of values which we're going to add in here. Protected bool automatic equals true. What we're going to do is when the player takes control, this becomes false. Until then, we will zoom to the expected position. So what we're doing right now is we are lerping towards a specific camera position, as you can see. And what this is doing is it's moving the camera and ourselves separately. Why are we separate from the camera? Huh. Oh, of course, the camera is actually just how far back we are from the position. That's fine. And what we're going to do here is, if automatic, then we'll want to have the transform.rotation equals quaternion.slurp transform.rotation target.rotation and time.delta time. We need to turn off transform whenever this gets called here. Manual camera update, so automatic equals false. Shall we try it out? See what happens? The eye might not be passed correctly. I mean, it might be like bracketed funny. It still says unreachable code. Something about this line here is apparently unreachable. Evil Luigi says you don't set automatic back to true anywhere, right? Nope. Once you take control of this camera, it stays under your control. It's a temporary camera, so that shouldn't be too bad of a situation. But as you can see, the eyes are not rotated in the direction you might think they're supposed to be. Oh dear. If we just transmit the face, what happens? Oh, sorry, face.transform. But here, this has some sort of bug in it. I can delete this first one, it's extra. But this is, if player control.top is an avatar editor, but it's not us, that should be pretty straightforward. Huh. Yeah, Evil Luigi, the eye bones are actually kind of hard to set up in Blender. For a variety of reasons. But the problem is that I think this is their feet. Yeah. So in order to get this to work, what we probably need to do is set up a real head to be an actual object inside of the character model, just to get this so that it's not frigging dumb. If we take a look at the avatar models here, this is just the models, we need the prefabs. Avatar, chatbox, stress events, resources, or human alpha crew, here it is. Drop one of these people in. This is how the human alpha crew looks, and you can see that it's got the editing balls and all that sort of thing. Evil Luigi says, are they always in that direction wrong? Yeah, Blender has some unfortunate characteristics when it comes to arranging bones. So I had to put in something which allowed me to, you know, a secondary manipulation of those quaternions. But the real problem is that right now we don't have any good indicator of face direction, you know, where our head is pointing. If we open this up and we take a look, we've got some neck stuff, right? So if we take a look inside the neck, these bones all sort of point in the right way, or they're sort of in the right place, but they're not pointing the right way. And in fact, you can't even tell which way they're pointing unless you put on a rotation like this. And so what we can see here is that this is x-axis, and this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. So it's all screwed up. And what we need to have happen is we need to have this face be mounted on something that it can actually tell where the heck we are. So we're going to go ahead and create a new object. I wish that pyramid was an option. We'll go ahead and make it a cylinder. So as a cylinder, what should happen is this thing... Oh, actually, this is very similar to the portrait camera mount. But as you can see, the cylinder and the portrait camera mount have the same rotations. That's interesting. Maybe the face bone is good enough. Let's go ahead and delete this for now. And what we'll do is for the face, we'll create a new face bone option. Where is our real face? It's in scripts, avatar, real face. Evil Luigi says you could just hard code modify the rotation. Yeah, this is a little bit more flexible because I'm never 100% sure which direction Blender is going to move it, especially with modders. So what we do is we actually have this system where you manipulate the face to try and tell it where the eyes are supposed to point and stuff. Deal with that at a later time. However, at the moment we need to add some new transforms. We got eye left, eye right, neck bone, and head bone. Is the head bone set up correctly? Where's your real face? It's over here on the Human Alpha crew. Real face. Head bone. Upper head. And we can try it. Let's go ahead and try it with that head bone. Unlike the eyes, the head bone runs along the z-axis, so it might have an easy-to-use variant. Oh, I just realized that it was a global pivot. That's why I couldn't see their rotation. Yeah, I thought so. It's offset. If we take a look at the head bone like this and we turn it to a local pivot, there you can see the problem. See how the two axes are inverted, or the three axes? All the axes are inverted. What we're going to need is a something to represent the actual forward vector of the head. And to do that, we're just going to go ahead and add in a new 3D object, which is going to be a capsule, or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Now, the capsule has to have a forward being along its z-axis, and that's going to be what we need to have happen. I don't actually know which direction is supposed to be z. Is this z? Yeah. So if that's actually z, then this is correct, and we can get away with this. So what we're going to do is call this head orientation. And we're going to add in a new value for our real face that does the head orientation bone. Head orientation. I should probably come up with a better name. Head orientation is fine. There we go. And then we'll drop that into our... To be honest, we could just put the head onto that. But right now, I guess it's okay if I put the head onto that. That would be probably ideal. Let's go ahead and move this on here. There we are. You can see that this all works. We're not going to have the head orientation after all. I changed my mind. So Evoluigi, the problem is it's not a read-only variable. It's a read-only class. It's a read-only object. I need to be able to tell it which object to look at, but I don't want to actually move the object around. So it was just, I'm not going to be doing that anyway, but it was just a hack to get this thing running. So what we need to do here is our human alpha crew has this custom avatar set up with no more head manager, as you can see. So in order to have this work, currently we have a head manager, or a real face, sorry. The real face is its own little thing. That's not the right thing. That's not the right thing. There it is. So we have this face here. What we're going to do is we're just going to make that an actual writable variable. Public real face face, and we'll just drop it in. There you go. Now if we look, make sure that we don't have any other places where we reference that, because we used to search for it, and we're not searching for it anymore. Yeah, so that's good, that's fine. So, because of that, we should be able to just write this out. Boom. Obviously, we'll be turning off the visual in a little bit here. And instead, we're going to be passing our face. Like so. Let's try it out. Evoluigi says, is static a thing in C#? I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't had to use it very much, though. I mean, static means a couple of things. A static variable in C# is a class variable, but there are other consts and stuff, which is probably what you're thinking of. All right, so it's pointed the wrong way, like completely 100% the wrong way. And the reason for that is because I'm an idiot. Have I been doing this whole thing wrong because I'm just stupid? I might be. Where is our camera control? Camera control simple orbit. All right, so here we're trying to put it in the same rotation, and there's our problem. We actually need to put it in the opposite rotation. Quaternion transform quaternion dot equals quaternion dot look rotation, or rotate towards. No, look rotation. And we'll go ahead and say transform target dot forward. And then target dot up. Now we're probably still going to have some problems here, because I don't think that we're rotated in the correct direction. I think that it's supposed to be pointed out of the face rather than across the face, because the cylinders, this should be their z-axis, I think. But at least we are now... I just did the same thing, didn't I? I forgot to invert the forward. Yeah, brilliant. There we are. But what we need to do is rotate this so that it's pointed correctly, and that means... well, this is the right direction, oddly enough, but it has to be this way. Thereby obscuring literally their whole face. I have created a new alien race, as Begin Attack Run has pointed out. This is the race of, I don't know, the bug faces. Alright, so we are upside down. I guessed incorrectly. Oh, of course, because I was doing it backwards last time. That's fine. And then let's go ahead and turn off all of this crap. There we are. Back to human faces. I hope you don't feel too sad. Boom. All right, so that's getting us some actual face view here. Let's go ahead and see what happens if we switch over to someone else. We're trying to get this to delete. I'm waiting for the rest of the events to come through before I do something here. Yes, I'm a horrible, horrible person, genociding an entire species like that. Alright, that should be everyone, right? You're all done talking? Let's click on Bob. Alright, so here we can see orbital cam target is now head orientation. Loading Bob, setting up evidence. So that it didn't run. It said that there was something wrong with that code and it wouldn't ever run, and it's right, it didn't run. I don't know why. Anyway, we can delete this human alpha crew now. We've already got it. So this part's right. The only problem is that our camera range is hilariously high. So in the custom avatar, no, in the avatar editor, we're going to want to change the custom range. So attached camera.range. No? Camera range equals 3 is more than enough. The Boogians will be remembered kindly. They certainly are easy to model. So that should allow us to get a close look at their face. What else do I need to do here? We had a bug where this doesn't fire. The idea is that when we have another avatar editor that's not this avatar editor, we just self-destruct. But this, here it is. This is, god damn it, you're just an idiot, Craig. So player control.top does not actually work because this isn't a player controller. It's just some random thing. So instead what we're going to want to say is if live does not equal this, okay? And live doesn't exist yet, so we're going to have to build it. Public static avatar editor live. And as you said before, static is a thing, but it doesn't do quite what you think it does. I think you're probably thinking of consts. This static makes it a class variable rather than a instance variable. So what I can do is I can, in start, do I have a start? No, I don't. In start, I can make that my thing. So public void start. Live equals this. See? And then what happens is every single avatar editor will see that same live. And that means that we'll immediately know that this isn't the right one. Let's go ahead and make this an awake. There we go. All right. Thank you for your warning, C Sharp, for telling me that that wasn't reachable. It would have been better if you told me you couldn't cast one of those values to the other value. Zoom. Okay. Are we looking at this character here? So that's Bob, I think. That's Alice. 3 is apparently an incredibly long range. Actually, I'm just presuming that it's 3. It might be you know, reverting somehow. Camera range equals 1. Bye, guard. See you later. Quick cue for Craig. Favorite coding language and why? I actually really like C#, which is why I am using it. I got on the C# bandwagon when it was still in beta. That's how old I am. And it was easier to use than C++, and it still is. So I've just gotten really used to it. I don't have any problems with it at all. But that said, I use a lot of languages over the course of my existence. At work, I use 8 different languages, and none of them are C#. I just find that C# is really easy to program in once you understand some of the ins and outs. And, you know, comparing it to something like PHP or JavaScript, it's a delight! Begin Attack Run says, wow, that's early 2000s, right? Yep. It might have been 2001, thereabouts. And it was a nice change from C++, and I think that was the language that everyone was using at the point. In my division. And then, of course, Unity came out, and Unity's like, oh, and we're C#. And I'm like, sign me up. And that's been good. Unity's been pretty good to me. Not that I've ever actually finished anything. Okay, not bad. We're zooming around the front of the face, because that's where we've put our face zoomy bit. You can see that trying to zoom is just causing us issues because we keep setting the zoom back to what we expect. So what we need to do is have it... this should really be a player controller, shouldn't it? This should happen in start. Begin Attack Run says, yeah, heh. Presumably he's still talking about C#. One of the big reasons I never really gelled with Unreal is because it uses C++. And I have a deep and abiding dislike for C++. Just because C# came out, and everyone was like, oh, this is an interesting new language, and it's better than C++ in every possible way other than efficiency. I'm like, oh, I don't do anything that requires high efficiency, so I'm happy. If I never see a make script again, I will be ecstatic. But that's a lie, because I see make scripts every day. I got rid of the close button for this. There's no way to get rid of it at the moment. Shall we go ahead and add one? So, we got our prefabs, our avatar, human view, avatar viewing, canvas. Go over to it, add a quit button. We can also change our situation here because we've got these 2 tab buttons and we don't need them. So this body edit tab will just go away. And what we'll want to do is have a wonderful new tab or new button for closing this system down. So to do that, we're going to go and move this name panel down a little bit. And of course the stress panel at the same time. And we'll just put a big X directly above them. New button! Where's the buttons? There, button. To be honest, we could probably do this another way that's prettier, but I'll deal with it later. For now, it's fine. We'll make this a 30 by 30 button. Attach it to the upper left corner and put an X in it. Just as a quickie. And we'll go ahead and make that button show up as some bright colors so you know that you're about to do something dangerous when you click it. Dangerous. I'll call this the close button. Now this could be the same as before, but what we have is we have an edit, stop editing, something like this. So here is the stop editing, and this saves and kills off. But the thing is, we don't actually have to save. So it doesn't look like we're saving. Yeah, it's fine. So we'll just use stop editing again. Now we'll save that whole batch. Boom. And delete it. Hit play. Yeah, begin attack run says that Unity and C# is, they're nice together. Yeah, whenever anyone's like, oh, I program in JavaScript or Java, whatever the Unity Java version is, I'm like, you should try C#. It's better. Zoop. Whoosh. Hello. How are you doing? Beep. So the other problem we have is that at the moment, the thing that we created is not considered a player controller. And that means that whenever we do things like use the mouse wheel, you can see over on the right behind the overview screen, we're getting some zooming happening. And in fact, if we were to click, we'll be clicking through into the ship. I don't think that, yeah, see, click on Habrooms Collider. So what we need to do is make sure that that's not going to happen. And to do that, the avatar editor needs to be a player controller. Bye, Eva Luigi. Morse Amalgam says 07. Oh, it's a salute. That's right. So we can make this into a player control pretty easily. Just say player control. But the problem with this is that as a player controller, it has a lot of additional behaviors. For example, our attached camera and stuff like that, it's all going to start to become a little more complex. Now would be a good time to start refactoring, I suppose. Oh gosh, it's 5. This did not go as fast as I had hoped, everybody. That's fine. So here you can see that we're overriding both awake and update, because those things have other meanings. So override awake. Okay, so apparently we have to delete it. Override awake. Here we are. The good news is we don't need live equals this, really. Well, I guess we do. Yeah, that's still good. Still the good way to do it. We look over at update. There we are. Delete that. Override update. So here, we don't have to worry about this because we'll be manually updating the camera. We'll be automatically updating the camera rather than manually updating the camera. So that should work fine. Oh, except for we actually want to pass it the face, right? So we are going to have to do something a little bit special there. Update is not the place for that, though. The place for that is in override control update. There we are. So with that in mind, got any more bugs for me? Got any more warnings? No? You're happy? Everybody's happy. So let's take a look at this avatar viewing canvas and see what sort of problems we're going to have. One is that the target isn't going to get set properly. So what we have to do, well, maybe it'll get set properly. Well, we'll go ahead and just let it be. We got the attached camera. We don't have a camera schema, but we don't need one. This might just work. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll just work. Morse Amalgam says you do all of your development on stream. I'd say maybe 60 to 70%. This is just a hobby for me, so I do it mostly on stream. Sometimes I will do some modeling stuff off screen, just, you know, have a modeling jag, but not too often. So let's see whether or not this background continues to do stuff. No, good. And you can see that this error is not an error. I just made it an error a while back. So if we click, you can see that we're no longer dropping through to the ship behind us, because now we are officially a player controller, and that means that we have control, and therefore nothing else can. Let's go ahead and set this up as just a log. I'll just remove it entirely. But what we're going to want to do here is make sure that that works with our avatar editor as an editor. Okay, so let's load up a ship. How about the classic? Grind. There we are. So you can see that we've got Alice Zoro here, and if we click edit, it's going to go over to Alice Zoro, and we're going to get this side view, which is something that we'll fix in a little while with you know, different sorts of mechanics, but it's not a priority right now. This is just the same setup, and you can see that it works fine in terms of adjusting body sizes and stuff. We can change her skin color and give her different haircuts, all that sort of jazz. It all works fine. So save and finish, and good. Good, everything works. Okay, so changing it over to a player controller was astonishingly straightforward. Hurrah. Well, I'm reaching the end of my stream because I'm under an unusual amount of stress today, so my brain isn't working very well. But if you wanted to ask me some questions or whatever, now would be a good time. I'll be in the chat for another 10 minutes or so, in case you do have any follow-ups that you'd like to ask. And I'll see most of you again on Sunday. I've got to go back and look at how that, or listen to how that mic thing sounded. Oh, also, I did some Kerbal, and I don't know whether or not I'm going to publish it or not, but if you have a strong opinion on whether I should publish heavily edited Kerbal videos of my Kerbal fiascos, let me know that, you know, one way or the other. See you around. Goodbye.